Hello and welcome to Wrestling Trope Alert, the channel where we analyze professional wrestling. If this is your first time here, help the channel by clicking the subscribe button. Today we are going back to 2009 and we are going to talk about the Undertaker vs Shawn Michaels rivalry ahead of their iconic match at Wrestlemania 25. We pick up the Undertaker Shawn Michaels rivalry on the February 15, 2009 pay-per-view No Way Out. Shawn Michaels is in an angle with JBL, who is 2 months away from retiring at the following Wrestlemania. Shawn Michaels has been hired by JBL to help JBL compete at Wrestlemania in a title match, because Michaels is apparently ruined financially. Michaels was forced to serve the Texas native in an indentured servitude Wrestling Trope Alert storyline where the WWE makes us believe it is legal to own someone because of wrestling matches stipulations. Michaels in storyline, having no other recourse but to work for JBL to make ends meet, delivers a switch in music to John Cena, but still Super Cena kicks out and remains the champion, leaving JBL angry at Michaels, and eventually the Michaels-JBL rivalry would culminate at the No Way Out pay-per-view, and if Michaels wins his match, he's free from JBL and also gets paid, but if Michaels loses, JBL owns Michaels forever, because logic. Towards the end of the pay-per-view, we find Shawn Michaels praying backstage for a win against JBL, and moments later JBL, now without his trademark limousine, makes his entrance eyeballing Michaels' wife Rebecca. Shawn Michaels follows and wrestles JBL, doing his best to play off the supposedly emotional overtones of the storyline, and by the end of the match, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels would deliver his finishing move, switching music to JBL, freeing himself from JBL's chains. On the other side of this rivalry, The Undertaker, who at this point is serving as the pillar of the Blue Show Smackdown and is planted firmly in the title picture, will join the Smackdown Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship that Edge holds. Undertaker joins the Big Show, Vladimir Kozlov, Jeff Hardy, Triple H, and of course the champion Edge in the demonic structure. Undertaker would go the distance, being eliminated last by Triple H via pedigree, making Triple H the 13th-time WWE Champion. Side note, Edge, the loser of the Smackdown Elimination Chamber match, would then go on to enter the Raw Elimination Chamber match, making himself part of it by beating the crap out of Kofi Kingston as Kingston was making his entrance, and Edge would win the World Heavyweight Championship, entering the No Way Out pay-per-view a champion of a brand and leaving still a champion but for a different brand. On the next Raw broadcast, February 16th, JBL makes his entrance in his trademark limousine. No idea why JBL has a limo for Raw, but not a pay-per-view, but okay. Sad JBL is sad and proceeds to cut one of his usual and long, boring Triple H style promos.
As of last night, Shawn Michaels is no longer my employee. I had my people write Shawn a very large check last night. He is now paid in full. He is also now financially stable. I have more money than Shawn Michaels. I have more money than all of you combined. I have a date with destiny, and that is end the streak.
JBL, who lost his chance to go to Wrestlemania as the champ, switches his sights to the next best thing, Undertaker's streak, which at this point was up to 16-0. Michaels interrupts JBL, smiling all the way to the ring, and apparently Michaels is back to his Mr. WrestleMania self. Shawn Michaels sells himself for a match against The Undertaker at WrestleMania to JBL's discontentment.
Here's my proposition to you. Next week, you versus me. The winner earns the right to challenge The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
I accept.
Side note, so the Phenom, The Undertaker, the supernatural entity, has no say on who he is wrestling at WrestleMania. Undertaker is just hanging out at his cemetery home and poof, is wrestling one of these two at WrestleMania. Because logic. On the following Smackdown broadcast, Vladimir Kozlov joins the Who Will Face the Undertaker at WrestleMania storyline. Kozlov is added to the mix by Vicky Guerrero, the general manager of both Raw and SmackDown, and Vicky announces that the following week, the Undertaker will face Kozlov. And if Kozlov wins, Kozlov gets a chance to break the Undertaker streak. Side note, at this point, Vladimir Kozlov is undefeated in storyline. Kozlov is portraying the unstoppable force that soon becomes stoppable as soon as someone on the upper tier needs to get a storyline boost. At this point, Kozlov holds victories against most of the lower card, Matt and Jeff Hardy, and Kozlov is in the main event mix, even competing at the previous Survivor Series 2008 match against Triple H. But just like all the other undefeated superstars that came before him, Vladimir Kozlov will lose his undefeated status in a very deflating way to a soon-to-be-retired Shawn Michaels. On the next Raw broadcast, we find Shawn Michaels walking backstage ahead of his match with JBL. Moments later, Shawn Michaels wrestles JBL in a 12-minute match, and all of a sudden, out of the blue,
we're now being told that Vicky Guerrero has thrown, well, a little wrench into those plans. The winner of this match face Smackdown's own Moscow Mauler, Vladimir Kozlov.
Side note, that's what you get when you book your TV shows the day they air. By the end of the Michaels-JBL match, JBL delivers a stiff-looking boot to Michaels' pretty face. JBL gains momentum off the ropes and goes for his amazing finishing move, the clothesline from hell, but gets a switch in music instead. Michaels pins JBL, wins the match, and Michaels is now scheduled to wrestle Vladimir Kozlov next week. Then the Moscow Mauler Vladimir Kozlov, who is actually from the Ukraine, shows up unannounced. Eyeball the crap out of Shawn Michaels. Michaels swings at Kozlov, Kozlov takes out Michaels, lazily building their match up for the following week. On the following SmackDown broadcast, confusingly, the Undertaker vs Kozlov match is still on for SmackDown. 30 minutes into the show, Kozlov makes his entrance. Undertaker follows with his amazing aura and mystique, and the man, the myth, the legend, Undertaker wrestles Kozlov for 12 minutes. And if Vladimir Kozlov loses, there's no reason for Kozlov to wrestle Shawn Michaels. So the match ends with the Undertaker attempting to go old school and Kozlov power slamming the Undertaker out of the air and pinning the dead man. Yay for the upcoming superstar getting a win against a more established wrestler. On the next Raw broadcast, Shawn Michaels is backstage with Todd Grisham.
I'm the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, the headliner, the showstopper, the main event. Kozlov, tonight I end your undefeated streak.
30 minutes later, Michaels wrestles Kozlov in a 12-minute match, ending the Moscow Maulers from Ukraine undefeated streak with a switch in music clean in the middle of the ring. And now Shawn Michaels is going on to WrestleMania to wrestle The Undertaker. After Michaels is done with Kozlov, WrestleMania business picks back up again. The lights go out, away we go, and The Undertaker makes his entrance to intimidate Shawn Michaels under the light of the WrestleMania sign. On the following SmackDown, The Undertaker opens the show to the roar of the crowd. Undertaker cuts a promo in the ring and talks about how he was up until that point the hunter.
For most of my existence, I was the one in pursuit of the hunt. Oh, but how times have changed, and that angers me. There seems to be a need to feed their egos and their lust. Endless souls line up each year to make a name for themselves at my expense. Shawn Michaels, I accept your challenge for WrestleMania.
Undertaker accepts Shawn Michaels' challenge, and then the WWE stupid happens in the form of a promo package, which cuts off the Undertaker promo. A promo package showing exactly why Shawn Michaels is nicknamed Mr. WrestleMania. Side note, exactly how this footage got on the air. Did Shawn Michaels bribe someone in the truck to play that footage? Who edited this video package? Did Shawn Michaels hijack the feed with satellite hacking technology the same way DDP did 10 years prior? This whole interrupting superstars with video packages bull sucks and seriously insults the intelligence of the viewer. After the rude introduction by Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker continues his Wrestlemania streak spiel, vowing to beat Shawn Michaels as he did 16 other men.
Very clever, Shawn. For 16 WrestleManias they have come, and for 16 WrestleManias they have fallen. The time for prayer has just begun. Sometimes it is hell trying to get to heaven.
On the following Raw broadcast, Shawn Michaels opens the show similar to how The Undertaker did in Smackdown, and much like The Undertaker, Michaels cuts a promo in the middle of the ring, taking credit for the video package he quote-unquote sent to The Undertaker.
Past Friday night on Smackdown, I sent my opponent a little message. I respect The Undertaker, but I am not afraid of The Undertaker. You may be 16-0 at WrestleMania, but I am Mr. WrestleMania.
The gong then hits, and Undertaker hits the Uno reverse card with a video package of his own, that also interrupts Michaels' promo, displaying Undertaker's long line of defeated superstars at the Showdown of the Immortals. Again, does The Undertaker know how to edit in Premiere? Did The Undertaker also hack the satellite feed? Does the dead man have supernatural powers that extend to hacking production trucks? Anyway, back to Michaels in the ring. Undertaker materializes in the ring to tell Michaels that he respects him, but Michaels will fall much like all the other wrestlers. Michaels takes offense to having to qualify to wrestle The Undertaker Wrestlemania and reminds everyone that he retired 59 years old Ric Flair at the previous Wrestlemania and that Shawn Michaels is the showstopper.
Undertaker, I am still the showstopper, and I cannot wait for this. Shawn, you have had epic victories at WrestleMania.
Wow, didn't know the word epic was part of The Undertaker's vocabulary.
That dream you have of defeating me at WrestleMania is just that, a dream, and I will soon lay it to rest. What you should concern yourself with is what I'm going to do to you physically, what I'm going to do to your soul, because I don't need to outperform you, and I don't need to steal the show. I am the most dangerous entity that has ever stepped foot in this ring. You have opened hell's gates, just like the 16 that come before you at WrestleMania 25. You will rest. I will rest quite comfortably, knowing that I did the impossible. You have never beaten me, and you never will.
On the next Smackdown broadcast in the main event, it's now time for The Undertaker to defeat Vladimir Kozlov, because ending the Moscow Maulers from Ukraine undefeated streak to aging soon-to-be-retired Shawn Michaels wasn't enough. Undertaker takes the fight to Kozlov in a very different Undertaker from 2 weeks past. A faster, more aggressive deadman in the ring goes toe-to-toe with Kozlov, and predictably by the end of the match, after The Undertaker goes old school, Kozlov gets a chokeslam, quickly followed by a tombstone piledriver, further devaluing Vladimir's character and basically ending his career. On the following Raw broadcast, Shawn Michaels is all smiles and giggles, opening the show dressed to wrestle someone. Then the gong hits, the lights go out, and The Undertaker makes his entrance. Wrestling trope alert, can these two foes coexist in a tag team match?
Can't believe these guys are going to be partners here tonight. Eye contact. I mean, partners tonight, but opponents at WrestleMania. Can Michaels and Undertaker get along?
Michael, this isn't right.
The question is, can he coexist with his partner Shawn Michaels tonight? We hope to find out when Raw continues live.
No, Michael, no, Michael, that was so not right.
Undertaker and Michaels are wrestling the new Intercontinental Champion JBL
Intercontinental Champion CM Punk.
JBL, clothesline from hell, and JBL is the new Intercontinental Champion. Oh my goodness!
and Kozlov and JBL are going to be further devalued at the hands of the Undertaker-Shawn Michaels rivalry. Further down the match, JBL and Kozlov take the pin to Michaels, leading to the classic desperation pin to The Undertaker, who comes in to destroy the now legal JBL. Undertaker then goes old school, followed by Snake Eyes. Undertaker then drops the leg and signals for the chokeslam, leading to Michaels stealing the pinfall from The Undertaker. An irate Undertaker then follows Michaels back up the ramp. Undertaker goes for his usual and awesome hand raising. Undertaker turns his eyes away from the entryway and Michaels takes advantage and delivers a switch in music on The Undertaker, leaving The Undertaker laying on the cold arena floor. Side note, even though this moment was caused by the usual "can these two foes coexist" WWE wrestling trope, at least it caused some further friction between The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. It kind of worked, but if the desired end result was Michaels super kicking The Undertaker in the top of the ramp, there are plenty of ways to achieve that. Just have The Undertaker wrestle someone, and then The Undertaker would go on to do his hand taunt after this match, and Shawn Michaels could appear and super kick Undertaker without this bullshit tag team match. On the next Raw broadcast, Undertaker wrestles the Intercontinental Champion JBL and Shawn Michaels is wrestling Undertaker's brother Kane. Wrestling trope alert: if you have storyline friends, they are going to wrestle whoever you are feuding with. In the Kane vs Shawn Michaels match, Michaels gets dominated for most of the match, but eventually as Kane is going for his patented chokeslam, Michaels manages to deliver his switching music to Kane, pinning Kane clean in the middle of the ring. And moments later, JBL is back to having a limo for his entrance, and JBL is going to wrestle Undertaker in the last ever JBL vs Undertaker's match, because JBL would be saying goodbye to his in-ring career later at Wrestlemania, retiring against Rey Mysterio by losing the Intercontinental title in 21 seconds. JBL gets his ass kicked by The Undertaker, and The Undertaker wins the match by submission with Hell's Gate in under 12 minutes. On the next Raw broadcast, The Undertaker materializes in the ring. The Undertaker is going to cut an ominous promo on the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels, your obsession with defeating me at WrestleMania has seriously impaired your ability to decipher what is fantasy and what is reality. It's true, I've never beaten you one-on-one. Never. Not once. Now you say you're not afraid of me. We will find out. At WrestleMania, Shawn, when you stand across the ring from me, just remember, it was you who opened the gates to hell.
Undertaker's promo is then interrupted by Shawn Michaels sporting some ridiculous cowboy boots, standing in a poorly lit field adorned with the tombstones of The Undertaker's beaten foes at WrestleMania. Michaels talks about how he's not intimidated by the dead man and then stands by a freshly digged grave, kicking a tombstone with the marking 16-1, leaving Undertaker back in the arena seething in anger. On the following Smackdown broadcast, a Shawn Michaels tribute to The Undertaker is announced, and in the main event, an ominous Gregorian chant music plays with some dudes, probably developmental wrestlers, dressed in white hooded robes walking to the ring. Shawn Michaels then makes his entrance cosplaying as The Undertaker's opposite twin, walking to the ring in a white duster, stealing The Undertaker's mannerisms. In the middle of the ring, Michaels removes his hat, revealing his devilish smile to the thunderous silence of the audience, and then Michaels cuts a Christian-based promo.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Genesis chapter 1. My WrestleMania opponent and myself represent both darkness and light. The Undertaker represents the purest form of evil. He walks amongst the shadows, where I thrive in the spotlight. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Undertaker, I have eternal life. The same, however, cannot be said for your WrestleMania undefeated streak. When you face the showstopper, Mr. WrestleMania, the man you have never beaten, At the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, will take you to the fiery depths of hell, where only I will ascend victorious.
After Michaels stops talking, Michaels' music plays and the showstopper starts removing his Undertaker-inspired clothing. Undertaker pops out from under the ring to grab Michaels' arm, almost managing to chokeslam the crap out of Shawn Michaels.
But the end may be near. Michaels going for the ride. Oh my God! Michaels escaping certain disaster.
In the last Raw before WrestleMania, Undertaker is having a funeral for Mr. WrestleMania. A hearse is seen in the parking lot, and later in the show, a casket is rolled out of the hearse, and surprise, Shawn Michaels pops out of the casket. Moments later, Shawn Michaels is shown walking backstage in front of a casket because of reasons, and in the ring seemingly stands a funeral service for The Undertaker. A somber Michaels makes his entrance clad in The Undertaker's black colors, going on to stand in the ring next to a casket flanked by two pictures from The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels' last match back in 1998, the match where these two last fought, a match where Michaels went victorious and then retired for the 5 years that followed. Shawn Michaels cuts a long and boring promo on The Undertaker's streak. Michaels then opens the casket, revealing an empty casket, and under the WrestleMania sign, Michaels continues his verbal diarrhea. Then the lights go out, away we go, Undertaker materializes in the ring, and Michaels is nowhere to be seen. The casket is now closed as The Undertaker destroys the set. Undertaker goes to investigate if Michaels is hidden inside the casket. Michaels then appears from under the casket to switch in music The Undertaker, and Michaels prevails against The Undertaker yet again. On the last Smackdown before WrestleMania, airing from the WrestleMania Access set, Smackdown is turned into a recap show of sorts, recapping all the rivalries going into WrestleMania. At WrestleMania smack dab in the middle of the show, right after JBL quits the WWE after losing to Rey Mysterio in 20 seconds, it's time for one of the greatest matches of all time. Shawn Michaels makes his entrance sitting high on a chair clad in white, directly contrasting with The Undertaker's black colors, signifying descending from the heavens. Michaels' music plays and Michaels takes a long walk to the ring and waits for The Undertaker. The Undertaker then rises from the ground, signifying raising from the depths of hell. Undertaker then slowly walks to the ring, proceeding to confront Michaels in the ring, removing his head under his awesome aura and mystique. The bell rings, both men immediately assume fighting stances. Undertaker swings and misses, Michaels chops The Undertaker, Undertaker again swings on Michaels, Michaels dodges and again chops The Undertaker. Undertaker traps Michaels in the corner, Michael feigns the switching music and pushes The Undertaker to the corner. Michaels delivers some punches on The Undertaker, ending with a thunderous knife-edge chop. Irish whip reversal, Undertaker catches Michaels' punch, Michaels goes flying into the corner buckle, Michaels fights back and crotch chops The Undertaker. Michaels jumps off the corner faking an injury, cheap shots The Undertaker, loose ass press on the mat, and Michaels punches The Undertaker into oblivion. Undertaker pushes Michaels, again Michaels goes flying into the corner, Undertaker punches the crap out of Michaels in one corner, Undertaker punches the crap out of Michaels in another corner, Irish whip reversal, Michaels chops The Undertaker, Irish whip reversal again, Undertaker sends Michaels flying into the corner. Back body drop on Michaels, Undertaker lifts Michaels for the body slam, Undertaker drops an elbow on Michaels, Undertaker now has the wrist for the shoulder tackle on Michaels. Michaels is helpless as The Undertaker goes old school, Undertaker drops the hand on Michaels' back. Undertaker with a knee to Michaels in the corner, Michaels dodges and Michaels takes advantage and works on The Undertaker's knee. Michaels kicks The Undertaker face center of the ring, Undertaker gets some stomps on his gut, and Michaels puts the Undertaker on the figure 4 leg lock. Michaels fights hard to make the Undertaker tap, Undertaker fights back and gets free. Dropkick on the Undertaker's knee, Michaels gains momentum off the ropes, Undertaker catches Michaels and drops Michaels back first into the corner turnbuckle, Irish whip into the opposite corner, and the Undertaker capitalizes with his arm on Michaels' neck. Undertaker delivers snake eyes on Michaels, followed by dropping his massive leg on Michaels' neck straight into a near fall. Undertaker motions for the choke slam, Michaels manages to break the Undertaker's hold on his throat, Michaels takes down the Undertaker for the crossface, Undertaker turns Michaels for the 2 count, still Michaels manages to hold on to the Undertaker's neck. Undertaker lifts Michaels for the sidewalk slam, another 2 count, back to a vertical base, Undertaker and Michaels trade blows, Irish whip into the ropes, Michaels come back with a kick to the Undertaker's face, vintage Undertaker no sells a kick. Michael dodges the Undertaker's punch, Michaels chops the Undertaker, Irish whip reversal, Michaels comes flying at the Undertaker with a forearm, Michaels nips up, and Michaels gives a couple of atomic drops on the Undertaker. Michaels clotheslines the Undertaker to the mat, Michaels climbs the corner hoping for the flying elbow, but the Undertaker rises from the dead and catches Michaels in midair. Michaels gets free, attempts a switch in music, Undertaker takes a bump from the non-existent move, Undertaker puts Michaels in the Hell's Gate submission, and Michaels struggles but manages to break the hold with his foot on the ropes. Michaels falls outside of the ring, Undertaker follows to drive Michaels' head into the steel steps. Undertaker puts Michaels in the hardest part of the ring, Undertaker goes to drop a leg on Michaels and Michaels dodges last minute. Baseball slide on the Undertaker, moonsault on the Undertaker, missing the dead man completely. Undertaker back in the ring, Michaels struggles to get back to his feet, Undertaker then flies high above the ropes, crashing and burning down to the floor. Playing the cameraman was Superfly's Jimmy Snuka adoptive son, James Snuka, known in the WWE as Deuce, part of the tag team Deuce and Domino with Cliff Compton. Back to the match, Undertaker just escaped the grim fate, because this botched spot almost ended the Undertaker's career, but fortunately didn't. Michaels drags the referee back into the ring, Undertaker struggles to get back in the ring as the referee counts, Undertaker makes it back by the count of 9. Michaels starts tuning up the band, Undertaker chokeslams Michaels, pinfall.
The Undertaker! Can he do it here?
Undertaker gets back to a vertical base and goes for the tombstone pile driver. Michaels reverses his attempts, switching music, gets caught, chokeslam, Michaels breaks free, switching music, down is the Undertaker.
Is the streak over here? Is it over here? And Undertaker kicked out!
Both men are now spent, still Michaels nips up, determined to win against the Undertaker. Undertaker grabs Michaels by the neck, Undertaker goes for the last ride, Michaels reverses but can't sunset flip the Undertaker. Undertaker lifts Michaels, kick to the gut, last ride, and Michaels falls like a rock.
Bounced off the canvas. His body's wrapped. Oh, and a kick out.
Undertaker then climbs the corner for the elbow drop. Michael dodges last minute, both men struggle but get back to a vertical base, Michaels gets sent outside but holds on firmly to the ropes. Undertaker goes for Michaels and drags Michaels away from the rope straight into the tombstone. Undertaker is in disbelief at the resilience of Shawn Michaels, the showstopper. Undertaker is first to get back to his feet, dragging his finger across his throat, signaling for another tombstone. Michael counters with a desperation DDT, Michaels drags himself into the corner, Michaels drops the elbow with precision straight into the Undertaker's chest, Michaels, assisted by the ropes, gets back into a vertical base. Proceeding to turning up the band, Michaels nails the Undertaker with a switch in music. Michaels covers the Undertaker. Undertaker and Michaels now grasp at each other back to their feet. Michaels chops the Undertaker, Undertaker punches Michaels, Michaels chops the Undertaker some more, and the Undertaker stomps his boot on Michaels' face. Tombstone attempt, Michaels reverses, more knife edge chops ensue, Irish whip reversal into the corner, Undertaker runs into Michaels' foot, both men are down and spent, and Michaels climbs the corner for the moonsault but gets caught in midair. Tombstone piledriver.
Michaels caught him midair. Tombstone. He did it.
The Undertaker pinned Shawn Michaels, extending his Wrestlemania streak to 17-0. And this was the first part of the legendary Undertaker vs Shawn Michaels rivalry. Thank you for watching this trip down memory lane. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments below. Feel free to press that like button and also subscribe for more future content just like this, or better. This has been fun, thank you for watching!